Tonight, a national emergency. The price of Jack cheese plummets as nationwide no X-Lax is to be found on the shelf. I'm Justin Bowman, standing in for Shepard Smith tonight on the news. I just woke up. I was trying to do that better. My head's not clear. I'm Justin Bowman, actually. Yes, as I just said. However, Shepard Smith has not been here. It is 6 p.m. on Sunday, February 13th, 2022, and it's time for Prayerless Prayers. If Shepard Smith does come to this, it's pretty awesome now. Anyway, I'm eating a piece of Jack cheese, and that's how I came up with that a little bit. Alexa, cancel. I can do a pretty good Mike Wallace impersonation too, but not right now. I can do a really good one. A really good one. All right, hold on. The price of Jack cheese plummets has no price. I can't do it. Oh well. At least I don't have to do Mike Wallace for this. All right. Hold on for a moment. I'm just going to get a... Even though I had everything in here when I woke up, it still kind of took me a moment. Because we don't usually do evening prayer in here, or prayerless prayers in here. It still took me a moment, even with everything in the same room, to kind of orient myself to what we were doing, all that kind of stuff. All right, hold on a moment. Excuse moi. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oops. We used to do TV news back in the 70s. Whenever we came in the studio, we always had like a bottle of Quaaludes and a whiskey rocks there ready to go. You know, it was a great way to start out the broadcast. All right. All right. I was just thinking of like Ray Liotta type, you know, host doing the news back then. As long as I could remember, I always wanted to be a newsman. All right. You know, Ray Liotta has never sat and watched Goodfellas in his life. He doesn't watch his own movies. But you know, which is one thing. You know, Gene Hackman, I believe, doesn't either. If he's still alive, by the way, I don't know. You know, he's at that age. Like, if he's still around. But he hasn't watched it in a long time either, like his own movies in a long time. But I don't think he has a policy, he just avoids it. And he has seen some of his own movies. But Ray Liotta has the thing against it. And it's like, wow. Just a moment to All right. Let's go ahead and fill in the log entry for today's. I sort of like this. It's cool in here. And this is good lighting. You know what I mean? There's nothing washed out right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It's got a good background a little bit. I can, you know what I mean? Too. It's better than the couch, I think, and oh, I don't know. Literally cannot think right now. I'm sorry. Taking my moment. My moment, a brain to get into gear. My brain, a moment to get into gear. A few moments. Wow. I don't need, okay, yeah, I've been sitting here this long with my medication log sitting there, trying to figure out whether I need to fill it out right now or not. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. 12 p.m. Angeles. Got it, good. And then 6 p.m. So you can imagine when I came up with that line earlier about Jack Cheese and X-Lax, that it took a while. Like, geez, it took a while to execute that. I mean, I didn't have to do like several takes or whatever. I did. I messed it up, and I did it once again. You know what I mean? But it like took a moment to like, what am I doing? It's weird. Because the Lord, why do you give me, why in a day like today would you give me that to do? I know exactly, of course, because I have a hard time doing it. That's, Lord, that's why you do it. All right. Something else. All right. Here's the shopping list. I'm moving a little slow tonight. I didn't have a Hot Pocket for dinner. I buy a Hot Pocket too. I go to grocery stores. I'm like, I'll get these. All right. So let's just actually get into prayerless prayers and just pray that, because otherwise I will sit here all night just staring at the I bet you the anchors on Fox News thinks they could just do that and just be like, I'm so and so with the news, and just like just sit there like that for the next hour and be like, how'd I do? All right. I'm not. That is not. It's a it's a great joke for a prayer video. No, I know, but I don't know. It's a common joke about Fox News, female anchors, you know what I mean? I've never seen, like, males on there trying to wear stuff, Imagine that Republican males and somehow, like, revealing or tight-fitting, revealing semi-formal men's attire. That's an interesting thought. Okay, let's see. We pray for all of our members in government, our President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, and all members of the United States Congress. 10 minutes into the prayer video before we got started today. Wow, I was like, oh, we're gonna start this over. No, we don't. This is about how to be me and how I get through my day, and sometimes it's not perfect and whatever. I'm sure the worst has happened right now, but holy moly. Plus, if I were Congress, I could have a dead intern we can't find on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, geez, so I count my blessings, right? All right. Quaaludes and whiskey. Oh, God. All right. That's when you, like, I don't know, blame something on the lieutenant governor and make a big deal out of it. And then take the heat off. Speaking of governors, Gavin Newsom, our guy here in California, and his family. We pray for them. We pray for all police, fire, and emergency personnel in San Mateo County. Police were on my mind quite a bit today. Like, not in a serious sense, but I talked about the police a lot today in text messages, Coulter. Mostly as today, like mostly in the context of jokes that I was coming up with. Like, imagine this, you know, I do that a lot, you know, but the police were on my mind today, so it was kind of cool just thinking about different stuff. I mean, today I didn't have much serious stuff about the police. I usually do have, you know, a serious point to make about them. But today, you know, it began with talking about how, you know, how much I kind of understand. There's a lot of things I identify with the police because, for example, I'm an unusual kind of guy, all right? If you know nothing else, just by coming up to my YouTube channel and seeing what I do 3 times, you know, at least 3 times a day, alone, that makes me an unusual person to do that, right? You know, and I was saying how, you know, cops are, you know, they're kind of, you know, maybe stylistically mainstream, like they may like be consumers of mainstream music and clothing and stuff like that on the outside, but for example, are not mainstream necessarily in the sense always of the communities they serve because of the fact that they want to be police officers in the first place. You know what I mean? That kind of sets them apart from a lot of people. Even though it's a very, you know what I mean? It's a very, like, at the same time, it's a very, like, not typical, but like, you know what I mean? Like, one of the things that common things that children always want to, you know, aim to be, but as they really get up, you know, and get older, you know what I mean? Because you're the fuzz, right? Whoever uses that word anymore, you know what I mean? Everybody, I started to get into the issue that we all need the police, but so many people just love to hate on the police, even though they need them. It's like the police can never do right, you know what I mean? Police are never cool in most people's eyes, you know? Not that, you know, everybody sees a need for justice, but few people really want to bust people when they do wrong and then risk their lives for doing so, you know, when it comes down to it. And the class of people that do often get labeled as pedants and assholes and like people with power trips and stuff like that. And sometimes that's true, you know? That is true. You do have to be cut out in a certain way, you know, to do that, just as you do in religious life. You have to kind of have, you know, certain... There's something, not always, but I'm saying I personally, as a person, as my values, the way I approach life, I kind of see where I don't know, I identify with cops a lot. Number one, because I used to want to be a cop way back before I realized that that was not ever going to be possible because of my drug addiction as that developed. But still, you know, I never lost that kind of... there are just a lot of things I see the same way still, even though I couldn't become a cop, you know. And That was a very long time ago, but so it began with that, and I began, to this was all in a text message to Coulter. Began with that, and then I became, it led to less serious conversation, just about jokes that were coming to my head, stuff like that. But yeah, so that's why I pray for them every day. I really do. As well as the Human Services Agency and the Department of Housing in the county, and for all county workers not specifically named. In South San Francisco, we pray for all police, fire, and emergency personnel. Oh my God, whoa. I'm not redoing this. This looks terrible. My God. This is like, ugh. But it's not about, this is not supposed to be like me doing the news or whatever. This is me like doing my prayers, waking up disoriented. Okay. So we don't have to start over. Unless they absolutely needed to. So I said something about all county workers now. We're just talking about, like, we already did that, right? I'm sorry. So the next line in group of people for prayer is our mayor in South City, Mark, and for all members of the South San Francisco City Council. In San Francisco, we pray for Mayor London Breed and all members of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. We pray for all those suffering through homelessness at the present time, for all victims of COVID-19 and COVID-19 long hauler syndrome. For abode services and life moves, both of which help homeless people get into and stay in housing. And for all those, for all clergy suffering with addiction and chemical dependency. We pray for all ministries inside and outside of the church, for all clergy and religious and lay leaders alike, as well as our Holy Father, Pope Francis, Pope Benedict, Bishop Mark Hamley Andrus, Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone, St. Gregory's Abbey, Three Rivers, Michigan, Hospitality House in San Bruno, Sea Episcopal Church in South San Francisco and San Bruno. the Diocese of California, the Archdiocese of San Francisco, Reverend Patrick Driscoll, St. Veronica's Catholic Church in South San Francisco, the Reverend Deborah Hawkins, Bishop Louis Gelano, St. Bruno's Catholic Church in San Bruno, and the Reverend David Grant Smith, the new vicar of the Episcopal Church. You know what this is from? I've gotten almost nil sleep in the past 3 days. And when I finally fell asleep at 3:30 this afternoon, I only woke up when the bell went off at 6. And that's why you're getting this right now. Had I just stayed up, you probably, would have gotten something more like you've seen the last couple of days, which is more together than I am right now. Holy moly, oh my gosh. I pray for all members of my family, my father Alex and my mother Cheryl, as well as Kara Masick, Erwin Rossmeyer, who I thought of a lot today. Very interesting. My brothers Joshua, Jesse, Ben, and Max. Mark, Jesse, and Diane Darling. Let's see if I can just turn this. Yeah, just a little bit. How about that? Is that better? Yeah, I think that's good. Better. For Bob Ottaviano, for Anna and Theata Crumby, Jocelyn Gerard, and Donna Brown and Diane Carlson. As well as remembering, as I do every day, members of my extended human family in these prayers, beginning with Junior Irwin, Stuart Packman, Eric Mosnes, Keegan Forbes, Michael Nold, Coulter and Rhiannon, Richard Simmons, Jim White, Andrew Marmelstein, Dave Maloney, Keith Watley, Jimmy Harder, Michael Zorns, Tony Vucetic, Aaron Rodgers, Ruben Padilla, Travis Carpenter, Kurt Berry, Larry Burdett, Janine and Mike Jones, TJ Hostomsky, Drunk Phil, June, Ann and Sam, Lou and Gina, Peter Steeler, Daniel Hudson, Clifton Barrett, Roland Barba Laborde, Mike Smith, Margie Burke and her family, Kyle Andrew Schofield, Laura and Lydia, Jason Hayes, Jack and Robin and their family, Gino and their family. Charles Ratcliffe, Chris Reinhardt, Dustin Keast, Norma Leakey, Matthew Russian, Tyler Davis, Daniel Fonseca, Michael and Corey, Ryan, Dean Varchetto, Pat Ford, Tina, Keith, Alexander, Matthew Mustashkin, Kevin Johansson, the Republicano family, Tyler Jordan Lowe, Tyler Smith, Charles and Kim Plyler and their family, Anita, David, Michael and his mother, Al, Cheeseburger, Kenny, Kendrick, Dylan, Charlene Myers, Jeffrey Marmelstein, Steve Buiza, the Pacific Family Medicine Clinic staff, Beth Lewis, Ken McCune, Bob and Mary Katz, Jen and Jesse, Larry Lawton, Gabby Giffords, Jeff Henkel, Mark Zuckerberg and his family, John, Bill O'Reilly, Christopher Henning, Scott Akers, Debbie, George Jetson, Lil Kim, Gustavo Caldas, John Shuck, Greg Flowers, Rick Rivero, Andy Han, and Stephen and Bernadette Connolly. The things the Lord brings to our minds, and when, all right. I'm sitting there for a moment, and the last thought, just before I smiled, a number of things went through my mind there. Some to do with what I just said, the name I just read, and a few quite apart from that. And one of them was, God, I can't believe that Mike Wallace impression was that bad. I mean, what? It's amazing. Yes, it was, Lord. Yes, it was. I can't believe you'd make me look that bad in a prayer video. Jesus. I'm going to have no credibility doing Mike Wallace impressions that bad. You know what I mean? All right. He's easy to do, too. He's got such a distinctive voice. That makes it even worse. Now no one's going to watch. And last but not least, though, we pray. Maybe they'll watch because we have a drug addict who prays for people every day. That's a miracle in and of itself. So that's a cool thing. I think that but with the Mike Wallace, a good Mike Wallace, you know what I mean? That's like, you need that. That's essential. So you need to have those two things really to make it work. We pray for all those that have passed on from this life, inside and outside the faith and fear of the Lord, particularly the holy souls in purgatory and the church triumphant, as well as the repose of the souls of Howard Connolly, Christine Baker, the Reverend and Mrs. Fred and Cheryl Merrick, Nick Lee, Mickey McGee, Keith Lloyd, James, Dustin Rasmussen, John Judicki, Anita Rossmeyer, Phil DiMartino, Father Benedict Reed, Winfred and Marianne Johnson, Demetrius Fleming Davis, John Gotti, my grandparents on both sides, Jay Darling, Tyler White, Ron Popeil, Priscilla, Edison, Sean Bowman, Bob Dole, Betty White, Bob Saget, Harry Reid, Adolfo Caldas, and Bill Brown. O Lord our God, accept the fervent prayers of your people. In the multitude of your mercies, look with compassion upon us and all who turn to you for help. For you are gracious, O lover of souls, and to you we give glory, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, now and forever. Amen. Thank you for joining me tonight for Prayerless Prayers at 6 p.m. I'm going to step out for a cigarette right now because I really need that. I do that and be glad and be thankful that I prayed today. You know? It's very, very important. It's more important than anything else to me, honestly. It's the one thing I never miss doing so far by the grace of God again. So that's not me trying to, give myself accolades for achieving anything there. It's by grace entirely. So I'm going to remind you and myself, as I always do, to brush your teeth, to floss, and to say your prayers, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you all, and peace.